everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Rock on Chicago. I'm your host, D. Stevens, and today we got an excellent show for you. What is your opinion on the state of music right now?
The music industry is in a weird state right now, at least from a creative standpoint, as I see it. I mean, as somebody who grew up listening to rock and roll, I mean, it's different with different genres. Like, there's some interesting things happening, I think, in hip-hop and rap, but I mean, I grew up a rock and roll kid. And with a few exceptions, well, you know what? No. There's not been an interesting rock and roll mainstream successful record in at least 15 years. Yeah? I think so.
And what was the last rock album that you liked?
Well, the last rock album that I liked was actually from this year, but it wasn't a mainstream success. It was by Nick Curran. It was called Reform School Girl. But before that, I mean, I find the older I get, the farther I have to go back to find music that I like.
The word that I would use to describe commercial music right now is lost. Because they're searching right now. The whole industry in general is going through a changing period, and we haven't quite figured out what people want.
I feel the same way. Actually, you mentioned the Grammys, and I was watching it a couple of days ago, and I take an example for like somebody like Lady Gaga. I think she's a terrific songwriter. I think she makes great songs, and the only thing about it is I think she pays attention a little bit too much to imagery. I think a lot of times with the general public, I think a lot of times we want to be entertained versus listening to music and maybe feeling a different emotion, like how you was kind of thinking about. And I think some artists nowadays kind of take their image and they focus more on the image versus they focus on music, in my opinion. So, but even guys like Justin Bieber, I think we kind of talked about that earlier. I mean, the guy can sing. He can sing,
That's
but
what you call it.
I mean, you don't think he can sing?
Man, you know, like
he kind of got the Blue Eyed Soul thing going on. Justin Timberlake. Kind of a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Okay, I was a music student in college, right? And not to discount anyone's musical ability, but you know, you'd hear these kids that sing, and they're well-trained vocalists, all right? But at the end of the day, if music doesn't do something for you, what's the point?
Sure.
Like, I mean, I don't. Josh Groban, okay? My grandma listens to him, okay? He's got a beautiful voice.
Andre doesn't know who that is. So.
I wouldn't have known either, but evidently he sells well with the Starbucks crowd, so that's a plus, I guess. But you know, you got to have some kind of it factor, and like you were saying with image, you'll have somebody like Lady Gaga or whoever's popular these days. I'm 24 and I'm already out of touch with mainstream society, whatever. But you know, image is an important part of the industry.
Exactly.
If Elvis hadn't looked the way he did, you know, I mean, you know, Carl Perkins wrote Blue Suede Shoes, but he didn't look half as interesting as Elvis. And then he gets in a car
Didn't
wreck.
have the swag as most kids would say nowadays.
Right, you know, Elvis takes his song and he's the big hit because he's got the right look, he's got the right image, but you know, image isn't everything, you know, and everyone now wants to be packaged in this little party boy, party girl thing. You know, and what I think it is like music's retreated to this soporific stage where, like, nothing but partying matters, which to me is kind of partying can be fun. I like to party.
Do you think that most artists today are making music to cater towards you think the general public want to hear things like that, or you think it's maybe that most artists are kind of losing their creative touch and that's all they can talk about now with success and partying?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think people got brainwashed to the point where they just, like, you used to hearing party music, so you just that's what you want to hear. When you get in the car, it's like, I don't want to hear you talk about money troubles and nothing. So I just want to party. And then, I mean, the no factor is if you make certain music, it'll curve, you know, it'll curve it and change it, like, as far as how we got to this point.
Right.
If you start curving it, it will come back around and good music will be made and played.
Right.
I agree, because I mean, modern America in itself is tweaked a certain matter, you know, like the picture of what is the perfect American family, you know, mom and dad, you know, mom at home, dad working, you know, mortgage, like that's kind of tuned into the world of music in itself.
Now, with that being said, what music genre that you feel is in the lead, so to speak, as far as bringing back real music, if you will, as far as being able to talk about social and more political subjects.
There's something of a soul revival with guys like Paperboy Reed, Amy
Sure.
Winehouse, James Hunter.
Sure.
You know, and then there's certainly like a rhythm and blues sort of revival where you've got like more rhythm and blues rockabilly acts like Nick Curran and different cats like that that are bringing back a different sound in their own way. I think nostalgia's very in right now. At least, you know, you walk around Wicker Park and I'll see a pompadour every 15 feet, which is weird to me because most people don't even know what it is. But you know, that's coming back. But I think what a lot of people who play the music don't realize is it has its time, it has its place. It's never going to be 1959 again.
Right.
No one's ever going to care about Elvis again.
Sure.
Move on.
And I also want to remind you guys that to check out Tracer Bullet, Draw New Horizon, and Dylan Lloyd on March 15th at Double Door, starting at, is it 6:30? 7:30?
You tell me.
I'm the host, and I don't know what time our show starts.
I'm a
thought that
trained
it was
monkey.
9
I show
o'clock.
up.
9 o'clock.
I was
actually
opening at 9 o'clock.
The doors open at 7:30. The show starts at 8 o'clock. I hope to see you guys at 7:29. Be there. The new sound for the new decade. Peace.